Good Thursday morning, everybody. Everybody doing? The sun's shining out pretty, but it's a little bit chilly out here this morning. I don't know what the temperature is. Hey Google, what's the temperature?
In DeLand, it's currently 53.
53. So that's a little chilly for us. Some people up north would say that that's um, not bad. you know. I'm just setting up my thing here so I can see the chats here. I do that every morning.
I'm cold.
This thing drives me nuts on this phone. On it.
It.
Now I'm trying
It's just
to.
mine so far. Ron says good morning.
Good morning, Ron. I use this cell phone here, trying to set it up here, and let's do it this way. There, maybe there it is. It came up. Jeez, sometimes this thing drives me nuts trying to just get it going. It's not so bad on the computer, but on a cell phone, it's 48 in Loretz. Wow, that is cold. Yeah, on the cell phone, I can't do nothing. I can mess around a little bit on the cell phone, but to do anything of any value, it's hard. I guess it's because it's too small. I got big thumbs. Is that it? Uh, so
No,
that,
that's your big finger.
that's my big finger, and that's my little finger, and this is my okay. So hey Google, good morning.
Good morning, Lucky Dog. The time is 8:01 a.m. Have a nice day.
Well, thank you. You have a nice day too. So yesterday I've been playing this morning. I got up and was playing around with my goggles. These are my goggles. I think those look cool. But I replaced the. This has a foam that goes against your head. I put new foam on it, and I have a DVR that's what I can record all my flights with, and it was stuck up here. And I seen online. I was watching a YouTube, of course, uh, and someone double sticked it right here so you can hit your stop and stop. So I did play with that a little bit this morning.
Love the googly eyes.
Like the googly eyes. And so I'm going to fly my tiny whoop. You don't see my tiny whoop I took and tried to make it look like a minion. See the goggles? I just took a black magic marker. I thought that was fun. And this is my other one. I've got another one that needs a little work on it, but this one I built. This is a homemade one. So anyways, I'm gonna fly that this morning. I got some of my batteries charged up here. These are the Tattoo T. I can't barely say TATTU Tattoo. These are 220s, and they seem like they work pretty good. So, anyways, I don't know if you can see it good or not. Getting a review. Anyways, so that's I'm gonna play after the live chat. I'm gonna fly around here a little bit around the house and hang out. Yeah, it does look like a minion. Well, on these goggles, when we went to it's online somewhere. They had what they call blind man's bluff, and you put your goggles on. A lot of people have those fat sharks, but I had these, and on their video they caught me with these goggles. Well, what you do in the blind man's bluff, it's you put your goggles on and you'll see a screen. You try to get this little ribbon and get back to the beginning, and you win a prize. And here it was all done, and I didn't hear it. I'm still looking around there, and they're teasing me, and I'm flying around. So it's in some of my RC videos. If you go to my,
hysterical.
Yeah, it was really cool. So go to my YouTube page in the groups and look for the RC, and down in there somewhere I got the blind.
It says right on it,
blind man's bluff,
I'm pretty sure.
And look that one up, and it was fun. That was a year ago. We did that over here at Sorrento at the. It's a big FPV meet. Pretty much, there's just hundreds of guys there, and that's all they do. Flies the FPV. It's a blast. We took a camper over there and camped in that. So, but that was cool. We did that both year. We did it this year. We just didn't camp this year because they're too noisy. They don't go to bed at night. It's like wake up. It's like kids. They hang out all night, and then they want to sleep all day, and then I start flying. So,
I
anyways,
couldn't get sleep last night, could I?
yeah, no, Sue had. So Ron says, I tried the expert in the garage, done good for about 11 and a half,
One and a half.
1.5 minutes, and it went head first into the
Uh-oh.
garage door. I don't know why it's doing that. That's something weird. It's a defect.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if had you called them or not, um, and let them know what's going on. Because it does sound like a defect. If it's just taken off and gone on its own, there's a problem there somewhere. And I don't know if you called the tech support or not. And did the door survive? Yeah. I don't know. The door will probably survive. uh, so, anyways, I don't know if you called them. If you haven't, probably need to. Something's don't sound right. It shouldn't be doing that. It should stay pretty stable on it.
Next time open the garage door.
Well, the idea is get the wind out. Leave it to Sue. Can't get through. Oh, their number ain't working. I guess you have to keep trying it. Probably have a lot of people. Maybe they're having issues with them. I don't know. There's several other guys at the field were ordering them, and both's okay. The quad's okay, or the plane's okay, and so is the garage door. That's good. That's good. So yesterday in our groups we have the Roadtrek King or Roadtrekking group, however you want to say it, and I left a link here in the section below. If you look there, you'll see it, and you can click onto the Roadtrekking site. This is our Facebook Roadtrekking group. Now, we talk about other things on here besides Roadtrekking, but it's kind of the base of the group. And we've had it's Craig Dean. He's been asking a lot of questions. I think he's looking at buying a Roadtrek. And he says, well, what about RV refrigerators? I've heard that they don't work, if not nearly dead level. Is that true or false? Is that was just the 90s models? Have they gotten any better? Do they work any better in time? Well, RVs, refrigerators have always been notorious for.
I put a comment up. I
I
don't know.
seen that. It said that get back cheaped a prop. All right, so you probably messed up a prop.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So RVs have always been notorious, like I said, if they're not level, not working right. And the older ones seem like they've always been an issue. Every RV I think I've ever owned, I've had a refrigerator problem. I had a Winnebago. I don't remember what year that was. A big Class A, and I bought it up in Ohio, and that's when I lived up in Ohio. And I came down here to Florida for Speed Weeks, and it seemed like, well, it was working good in Ohio because it was so darn cold up there. You wouldn't know the difference. And the further south you got and the warmer it got, the refrigerator quit working. Found out it works great. It did on electricity, but on propane, it was not cooling at all. And when you're on the road, propane is the way to go because it's easy down the road. You don't have to run a generator to give it electricity. You can run them on 12 volts as long as you've got your motor running, but 12 volt will dump your batteries really quick. So I never thought 12 volt was the best way to go. So anyways, this one here never did work right. Ended up putting a new one, which it did work good. And this has been several years ago, probably back in, that was like early 90s. Well, this Craig Dean, he said, is it better? Oh, then I told him, it says the refrigerator does need to be level. And I said, we took ours out, and now we have a compressor refrigerator, and we run it on solar. And that's what we did with the Roadtrek here. The refrigerator worked great on electricity. I don't know, whatever. I tried everything on propane, new jets, new this, that, everything I could think of. It would not get cold on propane. And so I had some choices on the. I wanted to get solar on the RV. And so I was looking at these dorm style refrigerators, like, kids go to college with, and it's a small refrigerator. And those the size wise a hair smaller but pretty close, fit pretty close in the spot where the old refrigerator come out. And they said, well, if I put that on solar and run it on solar with an inverter, solve my problem. I could less money spent on solar and the refrigerator and an inverter than it cost to buy a new evaporator refrigerator. And I did all the research. Everybody says it. Yeah, a lot of new campers going to that. Yeah, a lot of them are going to the 12-volt ones. This was 110 volt, which you have to convert 12 volt to 110 to run that refrigerator. But a lot of new ones going with the 12-volt compressor style. Well, everybody says it wouldn't work, and so I did it, and it's been working again 2 years now, or a year and a half. And because in solar, everybody gets hung up in numbers, and yeah, numbers is you got to kind of know what your numbers are, amps and all that. And I was told it would not work, and if you want to do the numbers, it probably wouldn't work, but it does work. So,
A lot of new campers are going to that.
yeah, a lot of them going to the thing. So anyway, so we put in that. It's flawless. I go down the road. I don't have to. I always shut the gas off or the pile lights off when I get gasoline in the camper. I don't have to worry about that now because it runs off the inverter, and it works great. You know, this is what I've done. Works for me. I don't know other people. Maybe it didn't work for.
A guy even stood outside the van the other day and said it wouldn't work.
Yeah, a friend at Flying Field, you know, he's into that, and we was talking about numbers, and I showed it to him. He goes, "Oh, it won't work," and I go, "Yeah, it does." And we looked it over, and he goes, "Well, that won't work," and I go, "I don't know. You don't tell it because it doesn't know because it works." You know, it's like so I run into this controversy all the time. You know, won't work because, like I said, numbers are fine, but people get so hung up on numbers and details that they drive themselves crazy. And the best way to do it is you try it. If it works, good job. You know, if it don't, well, then something's not right. So, but anyway, that's what I've done to mine. And so anyway, this Craig Dean here is leaving some messages here on our group. And he says, "Is that a better setup? And did you have to upgrade your charge system?" Well, I didn't. I mean, the only thing I did is added the solar. The solar has a controller that controls the voltage going into your batteries, and I added a sine wave. I use the sine wave. It's a cleaner energy sine wave inverter. I got a 1500 watt inverter that has a 3000 watt surge when something kicks on, and yeah, run the refrigerator on fine, you know, and. I wrote it back and I said, yeah, it does work better for us. And yes, you have to add solar panels and inverter. Depends on how you'll be using your Roadtrek. And if you'll be doing a lot of boondocking, solar's the way to go. You know, if you are going to spend a lot of time out places where you don't have no hookups, solar's great, you know. And then this Craig Dean asked me, he said, have you seen Tech on YouTube? And he does a cool set worth to watch. And I've seen every one of Hobotech. He's, I mean, the guy's smart on his setup. He completely redesigned his charge system. He went to the extreme side, but it does work great. I don't think you have to go that extreme as what he did, but the system he did, it was great because he uses computers. I mean, not a laptop. He uses full computers with monitors, and he wanted all this power. He upgraded all his batteries, and the system works wonderful. So if you want to see a cool setup, watch Hobotech's videos all the way to the beginning, and then turn around and watch mine. As long as you have sun. There's another thing. This guy was out west, out in the desert and stuff. They've got a lot of sun out there, but their sun is different than the sun is in Florida. Our sun sets up higher. Out there, you need to tilt your panels more to catch the sun and to get full thing. Now, I have a Renogy is what I used on mine for solar. Even on cloudy days, I'll get voltage. I'll get quite a bit of voltage. Granted, not as much as on a bright sunny day, but I still get voltage out, you know, when I'm out in the open area. So, I mean, I've seen days completely clouded over, and the solar is still producing energy. You know, say not as much, but it does produce it. So you need have as much, depending on what you're using. You know, you gotta produce enough energy to recover the battery voltage from what you're using. So there is, there's a factor there. So we have 200 watts of solar on ours. It's worked out good for what we're using it for, you know. And so we have to set it to the south, and we do too here. We have to set it to the south, and I'll notice it different ways I'll product. Mine's, on the roof solid. Some people make little lift up ramps that you can point your solar to the sun more so. Mine's not that way. Mine's just solid down. A lot of people use them and plug them in and set them outside and point them on the ground, set them, and you just plug them in. You can do it that way. So, anyways, ours has worked good. We have solar out our flying field. We have 800 watts that they use to fly to charge our RC batteries, and they had some issues with that. And a lot of you get a bunch of guys together. Everybody has an opinion what's going on. And my opinion, their problem was they had too big of an inverter. An inverter itself takes energy. As soon as you turn it on, it takes a certain amount of energy to run that inverter. And I do believe they had a too big an inverter, but that's my opinion. Everybody else had an opinion. And so, but it's working pretty good for us out there now. We have a security system out there that we run, and it takes power to run that security system. And we also have another solar set up at the other end of our flying field that us guys that fly helicopters and quads, and actually, a friend Todd actually bought that, and that's just a 50 watt. It was working real good, but recently it seems like, I don't know if the battery's gotten weak. It was a brand new battery. It's been in for about a year. It seems like it's not keeping up like it was. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. I don't always use it. A lot of times I'll charge before I go out, and I can charge off the camper. I just plug my thing right into the camper since we have solar and charge. And I have the generator too. If I need that, keep on the generator on it. So, and then back on to my comments here on our road trucking site. As Craig Bing says, yeah, I know you have to put solar panels, but doesn't the Roadtrek come with an inverter? I was wondering if you did a transistor panel replacement update. What he's talking about there's an update you can put on your charger, any charger, not just Roadtrek, but any charge system that's a better system. And I didn't change that. This Hootech changed his out. I told him, I said, Roadtreks don't come with inverter. Well, mine didn't come with an inverter. Robert Ambrose, he wrote, he goes, Roadtreks do come with an inverter past 2005. See, ours is 2001, maybe earlier. Says there's an converter charger unit in the 190s. It's a triple light 750. In the 110s, it's larger capacity model, but earlier Roadtreks did not have it. There was a converter charger and then a separate inverter. This was an option. And I didn't know that the little new ones had a inverter on them. But it depends on the inverter that you bought. You need it big enough to handle what you're running. And I said, I've got, to me, with a 2,000 watt solar and a 1,500 watt sine wave inverter, seems like a good combination, Ours has worked really good. You can run your batteries dead, overdo it, but I don't. I mean, I think it would run the microwave for a short time. They claim you can start your air conditioner running for a few minutes, but it's going to run it down really fast, so you can't. You need quite a solar system to run an air conditioner on it. So then on with this conversation, Mary Ruth Leftwich says not dead level, more like an eighth to a quarter bubble off. Remember, level the refrigerator, use an inside shelf or interior bottom nose to tail as well as side to side. The floor and countertop are not necessarily level, and that's true. If you put a leveler in your refrigerator, you need to put it in the refrigerator, and I think they say the freezer part, that's where you get your true level of the refrigerator, because just because your counter's level doesn't mean the refrigerator is level with the counter. And so you have to compensate that. So actually put the leveler in the refrigerator or the freezer and then you got a true sense if it's level or not, you know.
Don't be drunk when you do it.
And be drunk when you do it.
Because
So,
you may not be level.
and then you might not be level. Well, Ruth again wrote, I might agree as time passes since I have a brand new refrigerator in my 2011 with the optional being so picky, I was never more than an eighth to a quarter off. And so, yeah, and the thing with our compressor refrigerator, you don't have to worry too much about it. I mean, you want it semi-level, but not too much. Ron said, I don't level the refrigerator, I level the camper. Yeah. Well, I mean, the new refrigerators, I think they'll work better being off level. But, you know, if you have any issues with the refrigerator, you'd want to level the refrigerator. So, but I think the new ones, well, here's this Robert Ambrose. He goes, newer three-way refrigerators can be slightly off level. Older do not need to be pretty much right on level. With the newer units, it is said that as long as there's no noticeable slant in the van or camper and on the inside, if one's more comfortable standing, which can be a relative thing, so it's not really a good way to judge. If the three-way fridge is okay or not, then the refrigerator should work okay. The only way around the fridge is to have them to be level is to change the three-way propane AC/DC absorption fridge to a two-way AC/DC only condenser fridge, which does not have to be level at all. The two types of refrigerators work totally different principles and the mechanics. The fluid circulation of a absorption refrigerator is ammonia, and there is a boiler in the refrigerator that heats it up, and he gave an explanation how it does it. So, yeah, an evaporation refrigerator works differently than a compressor refrigerator. So, that's why you can have a compressor refrigerator more off level than a three-way refrigerator and evaporator refrigerator. So, the compressor, I think, is the way to go. There's all kinds of. The best way is to have a 12-volt compressor refrigerator. They're out there and they're not cheap, but to me, those would probably be your best bet. We have a 110-volt compressor refrigerator, but it's only $99. You know, been working good for us the way we set it up. Of course, everybody says it won't work, but it does. Someone else asks about what about marine refrigerators? They're not level all the time, and can you use them? And like I wrote, they don't need to be level when moving, and that's true. When you have an evaporator refrigerator going down the road, and you know you're not always level, so moving for some reason doesn't matter. I guess it flushes back and forth, so it's keeping it somewhat close to being level. So, anyways, that's what we were talking a little bit about. You know, refrigerators, and refrigerators can be a big deal. Trying to make sure they're level and everything. So, whatever works, that's the main thing. And that's always my final comment when people will get into debates about different things and that. And if it works, do it. That's the key. You know, you can play with numbers and stuff all day long, but if it works, that's the key. So anyway, with that, I think we're going to get out of here for today. And I hope you get a hold of tech support for your expert, Ron. That kind of sucks that's giving you issues like that. You know, I don't think, I think they do have some issues with those, and maybe that's why they had these things on sale. I was kind of concerned about that when I bought the expert, and like I said, there's guys out in the fields probably, they should be coming in now, see how they work out with them, and I'll talk and see what's going with them. So we'll keep that updated. Again, if you're watching this after the live stream, leave a comment and we'll talk about it, and we'll do it tomorrow. Or get up in the morning like the little, get your butt out of bed and watch it live. Anyways, we're going to get out of here today. Everybody have a good Thursday. We'll see you guys again tomorrow morning. I guess I can say bye-bye.